frontier is defined as uncharted territory.
It basically got out of its natural balance.
By land or ocean. Those who chart that territory tell a story. The past illustrates the blueprint for the present, how things are and how they've evolved. From land to water, we are challenged to border that new frontier, a frontier the outdoorsman knows like no other. Author Gary Lewis works his way along that edge of where discoveries, failures, and achievements have written the story of the sportsman. From state to state, continent to continent, the stories told create the foundation of the present, and they lay the framework for the future. Through the muzzle fire and on the stone are stories from the edge.
Water is the most important thing as far as Indians are concerned, 'cause that's life.
The past is written, the present is here, and this is Frontier Unlimited. With the dry weather and changing country, we come to unity with Army combat veteran Kyle James.
I didn't really think I'd go back to hunting, and it's kind of something I'm really glad that I'm back doing again now.
From patrol in the infrastructure of Iraq, to scout, to approach.
Don't get your finger on the trigger. I try to prioritize where I'm going to look based on the area I'm in charge of scanning, as well as trying to figure out if I was going to attack this convoy, how would I do it? How would I execute this mission? I grew up in Baker, Oregon, and I joined the Army in April 2002, and then that summer I went to basic training. In June of 2004, my unit was mobilized for Operation Iraqi Freedom. We got to Iraq, I think about December 14th of 2004. My job there was as a 240 gunner on a 1114 Humvee as the number 2 truck, so I would watch the truck in front of me, make sure nobody's trying to sneak up with a bomb and detonate it. Also watch for cars trying to do a suicide run against our vehicles, and protecting my crew.
As we head east on Highway 26 out of Central Oregon, the smoke thickens. Life goes on as the summer fire season has become the norm in the last decade. With the dry weather and changing country, we come to unity with Army combat veteran Kyle James as the night shift crew finds their way to the flames.
Our main objectives to begin with were to keep the footprint as small as possible on these fires, which is a difficult thing to do considering the type of terrain, the fuels involved with lighter fuels that carry fires pretty quick into the timber that can burn more intensely and eliminate some of that valuable timber out there. So we've got some major priorities there.
Lewis and crew meet up at the Waterhole Cafe to get acquainted.
We find veterans like Kyle through word of mouth. Generally speaking, it's somebody I know that knows somebody that knows somebody, and that's how we started. We're a very grassroots operation.
Lewis and crew make their way to home base, a ranch located on the outskirts of Unity. Lewis and crew rise with the intention to reacquaint a soldier to hunting.
I am a native Oregonian, 5th generation, living in Bend, Oregon, practicing dentistry. In my position, we're often asked for donations There's almost a sense of duty in our profession to give back to the community where you can, those that can't afford our care. That feels good, but it's just an obligation that you take on. And I got to a point where I decided I wanted to do some things outside of that. And so I asked myself what was my passions in life, and it was outdoors. So that was easy. Okay, how could I use that? I have a deep passion for veterans and what they do for us. And so I thought if I could combine my passion with giving back to that group, it would be perfect. And this is my first experience going out and actually seeking it out on my own. And it's actually been more rewarding than the things that I'm obligated to do or that I'm asked to do on a daily basis.
They're good plates though, because you get a visual and you also hear it.
I grew up hunting near here, just on the other side of these mountains here. And when I came back from Iraq, I didn't really want to go hunting anymore. It was too much like going on a patrol for me.
I'll leave it on 0.
You know, you're always wondering where the next booby trap's going to be, and you know, out searching for your opponent, the enemy, looking for them, scanning, looking behind you, looking ahead of you, looking above you.
Oh, okay. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just worried about getting bit.
We can clean that up later.
Clean that with the elk.
That might make for some good footage too.
Yeah, now we're not worried about an animal, so this is just about you getting comfortable with this gun.
I didn't really think I'd go back to hunting. And it's kind of something I'm really glad that I'm back doing again now.
Lewis and crew find themselves outside of Unity, Oregon, to reintroduce Army combat veteran Kyle James to hunting after his tour in Iraq.
Right now we're not worried about an animal, so this is just about you getting comfortable with this gun.
I didn't really think I'd go back to hunting. And it's kind of something I'm really glad that I'm back doing again now.
What I want you to do as soon as you shoot is don't look, but listen. It's a distinct sound. You know the sound. Whop. So just shoot and then just listen, but don't look.
Okay.
Okay?
Kyle James from Baker, Oregon gets reacquainted
Pretty light,
with the
huh?
trigger press.
If you dead nut this the first shot, we'll just go right back to 300. And if you dead nut that the first shot, we're gonna go right back to 400. You dead nut that, we're done. And then if you like the gun, we won't go any further. If you want to try his gun, we'll try his gun.
Sighting on Philip's rifle yesterday was a lot of fun for me. You know, it's this, you know, beautiful, beautiful designed Remington 700 7mm rifle. You know, it looks like a sniper rifle that the Army uses.
I am ready.
All right, fire and hold.
Just every little piece of it's so perfected that, you know, shooting it was just such a real privilege for me. And, you know, we'd go out and we started at 200 meters, you know, hit the target, went back to 400 meters, hit the target.
We normally raise money through big events and corporate sponsors. This hunt was a little unique. I got a call from Gary saying that there's another veteran who loves to hunt that wants to pay the bill, basically take care of another veteran. And that was really special and unique. And so they reached out to us, said, hey, do you have a veteran that would love to go on an elk hunt? Maybe somebody who hasn't hunted for a while, somebody who would like to get back into the hunting since they've served. And so Philip is the one that took care of this hunt for us. And so we're really just the host. We chose the veteran, and we're here for the experience along with the veteran. So this is a really special opportunity for us to be involved.
I think the kids today, like Kyle, I think when they sign up, it's a given that you're probably going to get deployed. So my heart really goes out to them. I think they've really, as a generation, are stepping up in a way that maybe previous generations didn't have to.
Being a rifle I've never shot before, I thought it was pretty easy to get used to and be pretty confident with. The Army sniper rifle has a lot of similar features with it, so it was a pretty easy crossover for me.
Checking the targets downrange for accuracy is a must in sighting in a rifle that one is not familiar with.
Make sure you're comfortable with what's going on.
As Kyle prepares for the afternoon hunt, it is no surprise that his marksmanship proves precise. From patrol in the infrastructure of Iraq, to scout, to approach. Lewis and crew find themselves outside of Unity, Oregon, to reintroduce Army combat veteran Kyle James to hunting after his tour in Iraq. His shooting is on the mark.
The one or two places we can't see, you'll actually hear them because they're going to be mewing the whole time. And then at that point, we're going to bail out and go intercept them. We went back and forth about this the other day, but the way they've been coming somewhere through here. But if they get behind you and then we get in the field and we spook them, they scatter. Where this way we can at least tell where they're coming from.
Where's our vantage point then?
We'll be peeking out the top windows. They could be bedded up here just 200 or 300 yards, so.
I like the game plan.
Cool. All right.
The elk normally make their way down to the fields in the evening. An early scout solidifies their plan. Jake Karst of Home with Heroes will join James and crew for the evening hunt. In Eastern Oregon, the summer heat implies hydration for any kind of activity.
Chasing elk for veterans. Hey, Mom, I'm on TV.
From patrol in the infrastructure of Iraq, to scout, to approach.
I wanted to get here before the deer got out there.
Don't step close to the edge.
Lewis sets up on the far edge to cover the corners of the hayshed. In these kinds of hunts, it's key for everyone to be on the same page.
Make sure, let us know.
I've said here a lot of times they come right down through that gate right there across that sagebrush. So we'll just play a bear and see which way they come in. So it's kind of a waiting game for now. Waiting game right now. They're probably right up here somewhere there's two meadows up here. They could be in them right now or they could be laying in any of these sagebrush draws. So we'll just wait for them to either hear them or see them. And if it goes good, we'll be able to do something from right here. If not, we can still get back down and depending on which field they come into and then try to put a sneak on them. So that's the plan, kind of a waiting game for now. Any bucks out there or just does? Does out there.
Just toes.
This is a pretty neat setup because we've got several valleys all that lead down into this orchard grass and alfalfa, all these fields. We got water in just about every canyon. Not a lot of it, but pockets of it in every canyon. And what we're expecting is for the elk to filter down through these juniper trees, and we don't know if they're going to come down one of these canyons we can see into or not. But this spot gives us a really good vantage point. And I found fresh elk tracks as we were coming up that hill. So they came down last night. They'll probably come down tonight too.
So lucky on the wind. Yeah. Don't get your finger on the trigger.
Lewis and crew find themselves outside of Unity, Oregon, to reintroduce Army combat veteran Kyle James to hunting after his tour in Iraq.
Pretty light.
Breeze feels good. Wind feels good.
For a hunter, every moment earns attention. Every sound is considered a clue to the events that may lead to the kill.
Being in the hay barn, knowing I have allergy issues, was a bit challenging for me. And when I got cough drops, so I wouldn't be coughing up a lung with all the smoke in the air from the forest fires. And I just tried not to think about it, because if you start thinking, don't do this, you're gonna start doing it. So I just try to keep a clear mind about it and stay focused on, looking for elk.
Wildlife surrounds the hay shed as the afternoon sun gives its light to each dry valley. It's important to realize every animal plays a part in the hunt. One wrong move in the sight of a deer could ruin the opportunity to connect with the evening elk.
Yeah, he's a big fork on one side and Crabtree 4x on the other side. Yeah, bad genes. You gotta get him out of there. Maybe he has a 3x4. He's got like a crab.
Sitting up in the hay barn, you can somewhat relax. You're sitting down. You can play with the straw a little bit, and maybe drink some water if Gary Lewis decides to share. But you're always out scanning for elk coming in. A lot of deer kept coming in, giving us kind of the false alarm because of from the heat from the fire, and then it would reflect down off of the clouds, and it kind of gave them that reddish, orangish hue that you'll find on elk, and it set off a few false alarms for us.
A slight breeze finds its way through the rafters of the shed as the wood creaks, flies hatch over the fading water source. The spiderwebs shimmer in the light. As the sun rests, the elk arrive.
When the elk was finally spotted, we started to form a plan, and we decided to go to the back corner of the hay shed because Brad knows this place better than anybody. He told us to go there because if they go down to the meadows, we have a shot. If they go back the other way, we still have a shot. There's more coming. So we went there, and to get there, we had the low crawl with the rifle and everything, and it was a little bit interesting because in the center of the hay barn, there's kind of an empty area of no bales of hay. So you kind of have to crawl and then kind of jump a little bit without being seen. The tension, a lot of it for me was just, not being spotted by the elk and, making sure nobody around me is making too much noise to scare the elk off.
We'll just see what happens. Before you get up, slowly slide up. Just slowly, maybe one that's by itself with nothing behind it. It's broadside. You got one? Yep. Aim for the heart. Okay. Ready? Yep. Which one you shot? Don't get your finger on the trigger. Wait. Is that the one you shot that's sitting there?
I think so.
Okay, so wait, she's going down. Good job. You got her. Yep. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. One shot on kill.
Yep.
Go Army.
That's right.
Well done, y'all. Yeah, that was awesome. I was getting a little impatient.
So that was the most interesting hunt, with a long wait. About a 10-yard belly crawl across bales of hay through the rafters of a barn to get this kind gentleman his elk. How'd the shot feel when you took the shot?
I felt pretty confident in it, but there's always that, like...
I did it.
I didn't see anything lying down on the ground, so it was just like, well, crap.
Yeah, elk are tough animals.
They are.
I'm not sure that's the way we planned it to go, but that's the way it went.
Yeah.
Let's get up there before we lose our light.
Before we go get the pickup, you guys handle that.
All right.
After sustaining serious injuries from an IED explosion on his Humvee in Iraq, Kyle James connects with his hunting past. Back home. But the story doesn't lie in the shot, the moment the elk went down. It lies in the people who make opportunity a reality. It lies in the fellowship sustained through a common passion the outdoorsman knows better than most.